Hello, and welcome to week 12, day 84 of Man vs. Violin. This week, I'm working in the Suzuki book, and the songs I'm working on are Allegro and Perpetual Motion. And with these songs, both of them have these little subscript fours. And where that four is written, it's suggesting an alternative. So instead of playing the E note on the E string, those little subscript fours are suggesting an alternative using the fourth finger, the pinky finger, to play the E note on the A string. So that's kind of what I've been working on this week. With Allegro, the primary way it's written is using the open E. So the alternative is using the pinky finger to finger that E. So you'll notice when I play this one, it's more difficult to do. It's more difficult to control the bow. And it's also, sometimes it's difficult not to accidentally bump up against the D string as I'm coming off of a note that's on the E string. So you'll see that it's a little bit more challenging. That's good practice, though. You'll see that that bow was more difficult for me to control. The bow was kind of bouncing. So I'm trying to practice using the E note on the A string using my pinky finger. I'm trying to go back and practice all the things that I had been practicing before, but now using that for my E. So I'm going to do Perpetual Motion. Perpetual Motion is a good song because it's all in eighth notes all the way through, and there are no rests. So it's just like it says, it's perpetual motion. You're constantly playing notes. And some of these also incorporate the E string, or the E note that's on the A string. So you'll notice that same thing. I was having that same difficulty where I'd be playing a note on the E string and then coming back to my pinky finger on the A string, and the bow was bouncing. So that's a good thing to be practicing to overcome. So that's kind of my challenge, is to kind of overcome that bounciness. But it's a completely different feeling trying to use the pinky finger to finger that E note rather than just play it on the open E. So the other things that I've been working on this week are from the Mel Bay book. And the Mel Bay book has a song called Scherzando that makes use of the E note. And so I've been trying to incorporate the pinky finger on that as well. So first I'll play Scherzando the way it's written using the open E. And now I'll play it the way I've been practicing it, using the pinky finger to finger the E note. And there it is, that bouncing again. That seems to happen when I'm coming from the F sharp on the E note back to the E that's on the A string. So the other song from Mel Bay I've been practicing is Gavotte. Gavotte starts to incorporate the D. So that's one I just started practicing the other day. Definitely a work in progress. Gavotte, more like ga not. Okay, bad pun. So this week I've been using my Cecilio 300 violin. If you watched my last two videos, you'll see that I recently bought a Fiddler Shop Symphony Violin. And I love that violin. It's great. It's a great violin. But I wanted to dust the cobwebs off of the little Cecilio and use this week. I like to keep all my musical instruments in a constant rotation. So I have a lot of bass guitars. My primary instrument is bass. And as my wife will attest, I got a lot of basses. And so I like to rotate through all my basses every week just to make sure they all get played. That way I can see how they're doing. So same thing with my two violins, my Symphony Violin and my little Cecilio. I want to keep the Cecilio kind of in use, but definitely the primary violin is the Fiddler Shop Symphony Violin. It's definitely an awesome violin. So that's all I got for this week, week 12, day 84, coming up on 100 days of playing the violin every day. That's kind of my goal, is to get to 100 days of playing every single day. But I definitely am enjoying the violin. It's a very difficult instrument, but it's also very rewarding when you can successfully play something. So as you can tell by my playing, I still have a lot of things to work on, but things are moving along. So thank you, and see you next week.